please do your actual knowledge of things, because in case you hadn't noticed, I have no idea what I'm doing.
No, you set that up pretty quickly. And
Awesome.
then you would just like chuck a light in the corner and off we go.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, you need a camera and to be able to see in here. And then I'm like, yep, good, done. What?
I'm just like, it's interesting because you're like a beginner at this and I've been doing it for ages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can feel like your tension and a little bit of like nervousness and stuff.
I was almost had not a real panic attack, but like I was driving, I was like, fuck. And then I was also on a highway going, well, I can't have a panic attack now because I'm driving. So
Yeah.
like now would be the worst time to do it. So like, okay, just push through, and I got here and then I sat down, I was like, okay, that's all right. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, but it's extra interesting because a minute ago we were having like a really in-depth discussion and then the camera came on and I noticed like you like completely changed, like and I always wonder what that is, like what the camera actually does to our...
Yeah, there's something in it, I swear, because like even the defensive thing of sticking the pillow there, I guess it's just because
I know one element of it for me when it's my video and I'm worried about it is there's more things to think about, and like you want to just shut all that stuff up and just focus on the discussion, but you're thinking constantly like lighting, camera, like how am I gonna frame this? Where do I want to go with this video? And you're like, there's so much pressure on you to like do a good video, and
well, like especially at the beginning when it jumps from the like, mainly I don't know when to bring out the camera because I'm like, we're having such a good discussion now, like bringing in the camera will make it change.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like there is a jump between that and that. And like now I'm just going like, is it actually recording? It is. Okay. I can never tell.
Yeah.
And also I need to keep an eye on it because this only records for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And most conversations go for longer than 20 minutes if they're a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep an eye on it as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Mine only record for 30, so...
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and some of our interviews are like over an hour, so like I said.
Yeah, I went to the guy at the camera store. I was like, can I get something that records for longer? Because I knew I wanted to do interviews with it. And he's just like, they all kind of cut it out. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll see what I can do with it.
Unless you get a camcorder, I think.
Yeah, but then you can't have the mic. Most camcorders don't have mic inputs.
Yeah, unless you spend more money.
Yeah.
There's like this catch-22 with cameras. It's either like get a really customizable DSLR that has its limitations, or spend heaps of money on a really good camcorder.
Yeah.
Sorry for making this about like filming cameras.
No, like in all honesty, I just want these conversations to be about whatever the conversation takes us.
Yeah.
So like it's in a way, you know how people watch gaming videos and like, I know it's really weird, but they just chat and it's not about the game or it's not about what they're talking about, it's just where the conversation takes them. And I don't know why, but that's kind of interesting. Or talking about parties, sometimes when I'm feeling particularly non-social at a party, I'll just pick some people who are having an interesting conversation and just listen to them.
Yeah.
Because they're interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people do watch videos like that and listen to stuff like that. There's like the whole ASMR community.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was in one of your other videos too. But like, I've noticed that a lot of the viewers that come to my like mental health channel are like, they're there just for some to listen and to like have like something to listen to and watch. You know, like it's not even, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just something that makes them feel a bit more comfortable, a little less alone.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. How did you find out about that? Is that like through comments or?
It's more so through watching like, a lot of the viewers come from the ASMR community. Like you can see all that sort of stuff in your analytics and all that, and you can see like, I noticed that my really long videos that are about nothing seem to get better engagement, like longer watch times and stuff like that, than my videos that I think are really helpful personal development videos, you know, that short, sweet, like to the point. Like they're the ones that don't get engagement. So I started to realize people just want to have something to connect to and like listen to. Like, more so, but I still do everything, obviously.
Yeah, you still put out what you see as important videos, because I'm guessing they're your important videos as well.
Yeah.
So what got you into the mental health sort of side of video? If you don't mind me asking, you can obviously go, nah, don't want to talk about this. Like,
No, it's just like big ass story. Yeah, it's obviously my own struggles, and then the thing that really cracked me was when I met somebody who just had it so much worse than me. Her name's Vienna, and she was at a centre called Barrett that got closed by the Queensland government, and 3 young kids, like it was a adolescent facility, and three kids killed themselves because it got closed, and one of them was her friend, and she had been there, and she's just like, she's never fully recovered, like she still struggles to this day, and like has it so tough and stuff, and like I don't know, something like she asked me to share an article about it, and something like just happened where I was just like, that's not enough.
yeah.
Like share an article about like this atrocity kind of thing. Like I really wanted to do so much more, and then like I just made one video and then another video, and then I interviewed her, and then it didn't, like nobody cared, like I didn't get enough of a reaction, and I was like, what's going on? And then I just got like this determination to make people care, and then it just developed, and now it's like a 10-year long documentary. Like,
Yeah.
that's the short version.
The short version is a 10-year long documentary.
This is like the short version of the explanation. Yeah.
Oh, that's all pretty cool though. So I don't think, do you get many views at the moment, or is that not what you care about right now? You're caring about the...
Well, more so we put the interviews up in their raw form on YouTube, just so people can see the documentary making process. So it's not really about that, but there's a few interviews that get some serious traction. Like there's an interview with Nissa, who did this tattoo. She's like a good friend of mine, one of the first people that jumped on to have a discussion, and she grew up with parents who were addicted to heroin and crystal meth, and it was like the heaviest interview ever, so naturally it's got like over 3,000 views, and we've got our show reel videos that have like thousands of views and stuff like that, so it's spreading slowly, and we're getting involved in like the community more and more, like Headspace, like we were hanging out with them at the Mental Health Expo.
Oh, I saw that on your Facebook, that you were doing the...
mental illness simulation, virtual reality. Yeah, so even the virtual reality crew, Clear Thinking, like they're like really supportive of us, and I think as more of the mental health organizations in the community come across and realize that we can sort of expose the goodness that they're trying to give to the world, like we'll become like a bit of a hub for that, as well as like documenting all these different ways that people overcome their different mental illness challenges.
I think that's really important though, like what you're doing and the spreading out. I don't know how to put that into one thing.
I have no plan either. Like I don't know, like I didn't know how I was gonna keep moving forward and like what was gonna come out of it. I'm just going with the flow, and like if somebody messages me or contacts me, I just do my best with whatever it is, you know.
So how do you is this really work intensive? Like how do you balance that with your rest of your life, or is this like your life now?
It's my life now. I quit my job like in May to just saved up a like kitty of cash to like keep me going, and it ran out like 3 months ago, but I've like just kept having windfalls, like little jobs here and there, and like just doing freelance film stuff and all different things just to keep me going, and like I'm still at like almost out of money all the time, but it doesn't matter. Like I worked with True Grit last week. They paid like $100 a day to do promo for them, like just stuff like that, just to keep it going. And so
is there much struggles like associated with that? I'd assume, like you say that in such a happy, like, oh, I can do it, but like I feel like there would be a lot of, I don't know, I'd be super anxious all the time if that was me there, or like how do you get through that?
Yeah, like my own mental health was completely fucked. I don't know how much you swear on this channel, but like it just comes out.
Oh, it's more like so with the interview with the kids, I got rid of some of the swearing from there purely because they asked me to. But if you would like to keep it in, then keep it in, because that's you and that's what I'm showing, really. Yeah. Like.
That's cool. So yeah, my mental health was terrible, and when I first started trying to do the documentary stuff as well, it was like taking a massive toll on me. But now I've had enough little victories that I sort of believe in myself enough that when I still get bad and like I still like have little episodes of like dissociation and like even suicidal thoughts and stuff like that from time to time, but I just know so much that I can manage it now that it's almost like even when my head's full of like suicidal thoughts and like negative stuff, it's not actually scary anymore. It's hard to explain, but it's like so dark up here, but like there's something else present in me that knows that it doesn't matter. Like that I absolutely know 100% that there's going to be a better day coming, like, because I've proven it to myself like 1,000 times now.
That's a really, really good position to be in. Like,
I feel like it is.
Yeah,
and I want everybody to be in that position.
Yeah, because I know that's not a position that like everyone is in, but it's really good that you're in that position now. Hi, this is a little bit of a post-production note. The conversation jumps quite significantly here because we felt that it ended a little bit heavy and we just decided to talk about the beach. But like, am I in the shot? Yeah. Do you incorporate like living near the beach?
Yeah, this is like the cure for depression. Like that's what I tell everyone who comes here. Like it'll fix you right up. And the beach is like a massive part of my life.
Has it always been, or has it just been since you went to Thailand? Or like?
Well, my parents moved down to Iluka in New South Wales, and it's like a beach community, and I hated it. And then just because there was like nothing to do, and there's like a population of 2,000, and you have to catch a bus to school. It takes like an hour each way, and like it just eats up all your time, and it wasn't great for an adolescent. But like going back there now, it's beautiful. It's like a good place to get away from all of this.
Yeah.
But I hated it, and then I went down my like fast forward through all the stuff that created my mental illness, and then came back to the beach and like found a new appreciation for it, and now it's like the thing that grounds me the most is like the sound of the ocean. It's really weird.
That's really cool. So like how often do you go down there, or is it just like
every day?
Every day.
Usually most days I'll go for like a 5k run. And if I don't do that, I at least go for a walk and like a bit of a walking meditation sort of thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
My parents had a rich family, a beach house up on the Sunshine Coast, and I think I was planning on living there for a while, studying Sunshine Coast University. And I never ended up doing that, but whenever I go up there, I'm like, damn, should have done that. Like, that would have been a life goal. I don't know. I'm a really simple person. I would be very happy with like an ice cream store and
like running an ice cream store.
Yeah, that's life goal is like, I know it sounds crazy, but like an ice cream store that also sells tea and like your ice creams are shaped like cakes, that would be great. And then like Friday nights occasionally have local bands playing. Life goal, that would be the best.
Yeah, well, if you don't want too much material stuff out of life and your minimum amount that you can survive off is low, everything is a bonus. And when you live when you create a lifestyle like that for yourself, like life is heaven.
That's definitely one of the things that I try and focus when I'm doing on the I don't know, to quote the Hilltop Hoods.
Let's throw out some Aussie hip hop.
So one of their songs is Pyramid Building, and like the chorus of it is like, the more I want, then the less I'm free. So when I see everything I've got, that's enough for me. And I'm just like, I always listen to that song, I'm like, yes, that's like...
That's massive in like Eastern philosophy and like Buddhism, Hinduism, all of that stuff. I don't know how deep you've gone down that rabbit hole.
Not really that deep, but like...
Well, that's probably sort of where it comes from, like that whole philosophy of like less is more and all of that.
It like, even just in a logistic kind of sense, if you can, I don't know, compare yourself to, although you should never compare yourself to anyone because different experiences and stuff, but like, you compare yourself to people who like to buy the newest things. I found that by not being someone who buys the newest fancy things, I have so much spare time to do other things that I really enjoy. And like, if they really enjoy having the newest things, then that's fine, but like, that's not where I'm going. That makes sense. So like, even from a logistics point of view.
I usually buy like, for example, phones. Like I buy like 2 or 3 models earlier or whatever off eBay for like a fraction of the price.
Oh, really?
So that like you're over a lifetime, I think I'm going to save like thousands of dollars on phones.
I sort of do that same thing, but opposite. Like, I'll buy a nice new phone and then I'll run it till it's dead.
I'd be the guy buying it off eBay. This phone is useless now, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Like to the point where it doesn't turn on anymore, so like, good luck buying that one.
Yeah, good strategies.
Yeah, I think it's practically I think it probably works out.
It would probably work out the same amount of like cost, yeah.
Yeah. So did you go through that Eastern philosophy?
Yeah, that was what Thailand was all about. I don't want to say Buddhism because I'm not a Buddhist at all. I just like a lot of the philosophy and a lot of the lessons that I learned from Buddhism. But like just traveling through, like actually going to Thailand and like being around actual Buddhists that telling me like proper like biblical crazy shit stories, you know, like that actually is, because you have this westernized idea of Buddhism, but then you like actually go and hang out with real Buddhists, it's like very different.
Oh, okay.
And you sort of have the essence of it, but once I immersed myself in it, meditation was a massive healing thing for me. And just eliminating desire and all of those things that are so like just minimizing like everything in your life, and just like living simply, like the concept of karma. Like karma is actually translates to action. Like the Sanskrit symbol for karma translates directly to action. It doesn't mean like if I rob a bank then something shitty is going to happen to me. The concept of karma in truth is actually that when you take negative action, you feel like when you take selfish action, it hurts you immediately. Yeah. Like you feel that in your heart. And when you take selfless action, it's a good kind of reaction. Like, and it's just, that's all it is, like selfish action and selfless action. And then once you simplify that principle down, you know what's right and wrong, like, and you can't like cheat your way around it, like your like ego or whatever. You can't like sneak your way around like justifying shit to yourself. You've got to be like a good person. Like, I don't know, like it sounds crazy, but yeah, I learned a lot of things on a lot of deep levels, and then that was massive.
So you obviously went through that, and I don't know, I was just gonna bring up, a lot of people go the Western version of that, if that makes sense. What do you feel about that, or do you just?
What do you mean the Western version?
Well, like, I don't know, sort of the appropriated version that's not fully understood.
Oh yeah, like the westernized like Buddhism and yoga and all of these like things where they've just taken like the best bits out of it. It's still gonna have like a lot of power, and it's still gonna do a lot of positive things for people. Yeah. I know there's like all this stuff about appropriation, and people are getting angry about like diluting cultures and stuff like that. But the true essence of that stuff is always going to exist in like the true culture that you can always go to, hopefully. Like I don't think by having like westernized Buddhism that's going to destroy actual Buddhism. I don't believe in that. But that's like something you could get crucified for saying. Yeah. Because I think there's value in...
Are you okay with me putting that up then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I'm okay with everything. Like
beautiful.
I'm all about like authenticity and just being 100% you. So, yeah, I think that there's absolute value in appreciating any culture. Like I really appreciate like Australian Indigenous culture. I get so much out of like reading about it and understanding like the different meanings of the animals and like all of that kind of stuff, and like their methods of healing, and like it's massive. There's like Aboriginal healers that go around and they do shit in like hospitals and stuff with kids suffering with like incurable illnesses, and like it's like miraculous, crazy stuff that people don't know like why or how or any of that, but it doesn't matter if it's improving people's lives. Like, how are you?
Speaking of Aboriginal culture, it's actually pretty funny because, well, not pretty funny, it's interesting fact, is the fact that just because of the way that they pass down their knowledge, if you look at it with like a Western sort of scientific view, it doesn't make any sense. But if you look at it deeper, it actually, they're just speaking truths, like in Stradbroke. I think they passed it down saying that these certain fish are like the leader of the school, and it goes around. But what it ended up being is that the certain was just this long and, to somebody who's from a scientific point of view, confusing, not very well-grounded story about where fish go. But when you actually looked into it deeper, it actually detailed what the best way for fishing to keep the schools very populated ended up being. So I think maybe what...
Just because they didn't have like a scientific, like written out, like, I don't know, like digestible version of the information that you could like take and reproduce for everybody else, doesn't mean that their knowledge isn't like spot on, like accurate, and like you should listen to them because they've been doing it for thousands of years and killing it at life, like
exactly
having a perfect relationship with Mother Nature and the environment. It's amazing.
So like what I was thinking then is probably what they're doing is very, very realistic. It's just no one's taken the time to
have a look under the hood.
And like translate it to the science sort of way.
I think it would lose a lot of power in translation. I think a lot of these kinds of things, like the stuff that you have to take on faith and like things like this, like the spiritual healing and things, if you tried to translate that into letters and numbers on a page like that you could reproduce, like I feel like a lot of it is like based on feeling and intuition and like stuff that's inside that we haven't learned how to translate yet. So there's nothing to translate it to yet. It doesn't, not to say that it's impossible,
but like that's definitely I think that is probably one of the greatest fallings in the way that we write things out, actually, is because there's this entire side of humanity which is, you know, internal, not organs, that we just haven't figured out how to explain at all.
It's interesting too, because like even like the English language is even within the English language, I gotta take 2 steps back for this one. Within the English language, like English used to be such a richer language, and we've actually like culled out a lot of the language from English, and it's like not as rich anymore. But then you take the next step, like English, as opposed to like other more ancient languages, the ancient languages are extremely rich, and like anybody who studies like Sanskrit or Hebrew or anything like that, like the language is so rich and dense and like full of like meaning that people like, it takes like, you spend your entire life studying that shit. And like you still can't get like a perfect translation, because it's just like so. And I think that we've simplified language for that very reason, because you want to be able to communicate with each other more efficiently, more effectively. You can't like spend like 50 years of your life studying like how to express yourself. Even though, so we've simplified the language, but we use like our emotion and body language and like the stuff that you don't need to read about in a book. Like you can tell when I'm like doing this, like what this means, like, you know, like you don't need to explain everything, and that's like why language has evolved that way, I think. I don't know.
No, that's probably it, really, because it's probably would be really interesting to see how language goes further, because as we move away from being able to do face-to-face conversations and have that, like the difference between someone saying fine and fine kind of thing, like as we do more global society and you might not be able to talk to people face-to-face, like how our language might evolve to be able to make those expressions, or whether we're just gonna figure out how to do the face-to-face still. And keep
that's
that.
Interesting. That's like a whole another rabbit hole, really. Because I definitely feel like talking to people online is very different to face-to-face, and I definitely value face-to-face a lot more, because I wouldn't know anything about you if all we did was Facebooked.
I'm not very good at talking on Facebook.
I've learned like 1,000,000 times more about you from sitting on this couch for 20 minutes, you know?
It's definitely like, even what you're doing, because here we're just talking. When I'm talking on Facebook, I'm messaging and, I don't know, watching a video, doing something, creating things. And people who I message on Facebook, they're never the first thing in my mind that I'm doing. It's always a secondary thing that I'm doing. Meanwhile, when you talk face to face, it's like actually like you are the focus of what I'm doing right now. Sort of thing.
I think sometimes people think I'm a bit rude on Facebook because of some of this kind of stuff, like, because I don't do that. Like, I make sure if I'm talking to someone on Facebook, that's all I'm doing.
Oh, really?
Like, I give them my full attention. So sometimes I'm pretty short with people and like blunt and like straight up, but that's because you've got my full attention.
Yeah.
Like, you have this part of the day I will not get back, and I'm giving it to you. Like,
oh, wow.
So like, that's kind of like, sometimes people think like I'm being a dick, but I'm just like, if I'm going to give you my time, I'm going to give you all of it. So,
yeah. That's definitely a different look at how to use Facebook.
Yeah. Well, that's like part of the Buddhist sort of philosophy as well. Like, just don't speak while you're eating is like one of their things. I don't do that. I do it sometimes, but like, it's not like, I don't live like the Buddhist philosophy, but like, it's all about focusing on exactly what is in front of you right now. And that's basically like enlightenment, like looking at like all of the lines on your hand. It's like, and appreciating every single one of them. That's like, if you want to simulate a little taste of like an enlightenment experience, I think that's sort of what you're going for. Like, just taking in the present moment 100% for what it is, and not letting anything else into your mind.
Wow. That must, I feel like that would be really difficult though. Like, even in this conversation, I've been distracted by cars moving and like.
Yeah, that's why meditation's important. It's just like all about bringing you back to that.
Yeah.
And then the more that you practice it, the more it just becomes normal, and you actually can get to like stages where you're almost living at 24/7, like, and you're just like taking in exactly what's in front of you, what you need to take in, and you're not distracted by all these other things. And then you forget about things like this. Like, we should probably.
Yeah, definitely. There's only 3 minutes left of the thing, which pillows are so comfortable. Sorry, this is just what I naturally do. I did in the other video as well. If I have the opportunity to put a pillow here, I will. I don't know why.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like what you're doing, like challenging your, like, you're obviously not super comfortable, like challenging that. Like, that's exactly what I was doing these videos for as well.
Yeah.
Like, challenging my own insecurities. Like, I couldn't talk to strangers before I started doing this.
I can't go to Subway. Like, the stress of, especially if it's really busy, like sometimes if it's absolutely dead, I'll give it a go. But I can't go up to Subway, and just the way that it works and how you've got to have the sandwich in mind and all the things, and if it's really busy, you need to tell them exactly what to do in the order, and you need to know how it works. I freak out and just don't go. Like,
yeah, I feel like you're one of the, like, I was probably a lot like that. Like, you put way too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to remember, it's like their job, they're professional at like keeping up with all of the chaos. Like, when there's chaos in Subway, it's not like your problem. Like,
yeah.
you can stand there, you should try this, like walk up to the front of the line and just, when it comes to choosing the bread, just take 1 minute in your head. Just, it doesn't matter how many people are behind you, and like, just experience that and just realize that it's okay, and then like go from there. Like, you don't, like, I know heaps of people who do this, like, they just put so much pressure on themselves, and they just don't want to like ruin anybody else's day.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to make the person who's making your sandwich's job any more difficult.
Yeah.
But it's totally okay. They've got it. That's their position. Like, you're in your position. You just got to order a sandwich.
I know, this is really weird. I just freak out. Like,
yeah.
Even going to restaurants, I'll sometimes just sit and go, okay, is this a restaurant where they take the bill to me, or do I have to go to them? And like, sort of wait to see whether somebody else gets up or what they do, and go, okay, that's how you do it. Otherwise,
yeah.
Normally the person I'm with just gets sick of waiting for that long and they do it. But
yeah, personal development and stuff.
But yeah, I'm definitely trying to get better at it.
Yeah, well, you're here. Drove to the Gold Coast to meet a stranger off the internet to interview them about random, like, whatever comes to mind.
Exactly. I have to be pretty careful about that. I have realized, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so far.
Do you want to talk about that?
What?
I reckon that would be interesting. Like, whatever stories behind that realization.
Oh no! Like, there's no realization. Like, more of just like, sort of, nothing's happened so far.
Yeah.
But I have looked at what I do and realized there is an element of probably danger to doing that.
Yeah.
Just showing up to people off the internet's houses to interview them.
Yeah.
You never quite know what they're going to do. That's why, oddly enough, I've tried to stay within the YouTube community, because then at the very least you get to see what they've created first.
Yeah, you can get a sense of who they are, so you're not just rocking up at like a dark alley.
And like if you see that they create things and then you've got a face and then you go, okay, that face connects to the person that makes these things, they obviously have an interest in this sort of thing. And if you show up and it's a different face, then you go, bye, and go. Like, you definitely know that's the thing. But that's never happened to me, and hopefully never will happen to me.
Yeah, I don't have that, because like I don't interview YouTubers, I just interview strangers, like flat out. So some of the places that I've like rocked up to, some of the people that I've met, and places that I've been at first like a little bit like, oh, I don't know about this, but I'm like a boy, so it's different. Like as much as it sucks, it is different. Like in regards to like,
I think it's really weird that a gender difference. Like walking through the city alone at night. I think one time I was doing that to meet my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, hey, could you please walk across the city to walk over there? To me it's like 11 o'clock at night, and he couldn't understand why I didn't want to do that. What do you do to help, I don't know, protect yourself in those kind of situations, or do you do anything?
I don't. I don't do anything. The worst thing that can happen to a man generally is death, I guess. Like,
it's a pretty...
I don't think anybody's gonna try to murder me, but like for women, I know there's a nice spectrum of like terrible experiences that you can have, like right from emotional to physical to like, you know. And Amy posted a video the other day of like an experience that she had on the bus with like just the creepiest dude ever, and I totally understand like all of that, and it's such a shame that society is such a mess, and like I don't know, it's like a whole thing like that we could not possibly cover.
Like, it can still happen to men, it's just like, I think
absolutely,
statistically it's more towards women.
I think it's like way less likely that like some like creepy person's gonna try to like take advantage of me sexually or even like emotionally abuse me. Like, it's way less likely. It just, as much as like people want to say like it happens to men too, like it doesn't happen enough that I'm afraid to walk through town at night. Like, I'm not afraid to catch public transport at 4 a.m. I'm not afraid of anything really. Like, it's such a low probability for a man that like anybody who's really saying like it happens to men too, like poor me, like really, you know, like I've never had to live with that kind of fear or
I guess
discomfort.
Like the act, if it happens to you, like that's a legitimate thing, but like the fear section seems to be quite female.
Absolutely.
Like, and it's really strange. Even I work in a very popular grocery store, and so you get lots of people coming through, and like even the typical like smile thing that people say. Like, I don't know, you hear about it online and stuff, and people seem to react really angrily to it. It's because it actually does make you feel really uncomfortable when you're just got a resting face. You might not even be feeling sad at the moment. If you are feeling sad, telling you to smile is really annoying. And then like, oh, smile. I'm like, yeah, what? You obviously can't beat them up because they're generally old men at your work and you're in uniform, but you don't realize how common it is even in the smallest ways, and then for it to go on.
I make it my mission to try to understand like as many different points of view as possible, because I sort of have to for like a mental health documentary. So
you work with Headspace?
I don't work with them at all.
Okay.
Like, I don't think I'm allowed to say that, but like I think they're the best organization in Australia as far as like actually intervening and improving lives goes for young people especially. Like, definitely the organization that I would put the most behind.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was just cool to like see them out and like actually doing the stuff at the mental health expo, as they always are. Like, there's over 100 Headspace offices around the country. Like, they're pretty solid force. So do you have like a call to action for the end of your videos, like, and like, comment, subscribe?
No, I generally just sort of where I feel the conversation rounds up, I'll just end it, and then I'll put a end card, and then I'll just generally talk over the end card, being like, in all honesty, because of the way that I'm wanting to make this, is to make this about conversations with people. Um, if they have any like channels or anything that they want to promote, I'll just go like, hey, check them out. This is what they normally do if you're interested in this person.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too interested. Like, obviously, if people start getting like following this because they're interested in it, then definitely I will be quite happy about that. But yeah, I'm more of.
It's more of a personal development exercise, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
that's
it's definitely
sort of what I was doing, but like slowly over time, I've realized that your call to actions are important, your channel branding is important, and like you may as well start doing it sooner rather than later because it makes a massive difference to your engagement.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do for your call to actions and stuff?
Just like going with the flow of things, like authentic as, I'd just be like, please like the video for us, comment down below your thoughts or whatever came to mind while we were discussing this, and click the subscribe button if you haven't already.
I'll keep that in.
Yeah, like exactly like that.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, since you did my call to action for me, I'll end it at that.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thank you. So it's at end screen time again. If you're interested in what Kai does, he does a lot of mental health videos, and I'll link you to his channel right here. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you, Kai, for inviting me over to have this lovely conversation. All right, have a lovely day. Bye.